How to customize continuous feedback to meet your team's needs. I've already navigated to the Manage tab under Feedback screen of the Appraise app. Here, you'll notice there are multiple sections available for making the continuous feedback exchange as customizable and as molded to your organizational needs. First of all, this tab will only be visible to those users who have the permission, or rather whose role has the permission to manage continuous feedback. By default, Appraise administrators and super administrators will have that permission, but depending on what is configured under your Appraise company directory, users with other roles can also have access to this, right? Now let us understand all of these sections one by one, all of these configurations one by one, and let me also showcase the kind of impact they are going to have on the feedback exchange process. Let us first start with the tags. Tags are used by Appraise to classify the feedback. At the time of installation, Appraise comes with 4 default tags, but of course, we allow you to customize these tags according to your organizational needs. And that's what you get to do under tags section. You'll notice I'm allowed to add new tags. I can add a new name, let's say Superstar. I can add description, and then I can pick up a color that is relevant to the tag that I'm trying to create. I won't create a new tag because there are already a number of them visible on the screen. However, you will notice that the 3 of these tags are marked as disabled. Or rather, let me create a new one and showcase another possible action. So let's call this one a Superstar. Pick up any color and click on create. As soon as I do that, you'll notice the new tag has appeared in here. When I click on the context menu, you'll notice there is the possibility to edit the tag, delete the tag, and move it up. Whereas if I click on, let's say, the keep up tag, I'll see the options for edit, disable, move up, and move down. You won't see the delete option because the keep up tag has been used in 1 or more feedback exchanges. So you can only disable it. You cannot delete it. Thus, let me get rid of the Superstar tag because we don't use it internally. Now, these 3 tags, they have been used in the past, but we don't want to use them anymore. So we have disabled them. And the others are the active tags. I can also configure the sequence of these tags, and accordingly, how they appear in the give feedback pop-up, that gets impacted. You'll notice in the pop-up itself, it follows the same sequence that you have on the screen in the background, right? So this is how you get to classify the tags. Moving on to the next area, that is labels. Labels are optional and they help you associate the feedback exchanges with different categories, team values, or whatever makes sense for your situation. You'll notice a checkbox in here that says allow label creation while creating editing feedback. If I were to click on give feedback and let's say type in friendly nature, I'll just call it the label friendly. You'll notice it says no options. That is because the label creation is not possible while creating or editing the feedback. That is the default option, which helps you keep things contained. If you allowed label creation, just like I did here by checking this box. Now, if I click on give feedback and let's type friendly, you'll notice the create new action appears. If you prefer this, you can use that functionality. Otherwise, our recommendation is to contain the chaos, create the feedback labels by adding new ones from here, and do not allow new label creation while creating or editing the feedback. You can get rid of the existing labels, but the problem with that is, as soon as you, let's say, get rid of this learning label, it will also remove that label from the corresponding feedback exchanges. So we don't want you to remove these feedback labels unless you're absolutely sure that that label has not been used so far anywhere. Moving on, default visibility. Now, this is an important area. Many times teams ask us the questions regarding feedback visibility. Not every team is the same. So maybe your organization is too large and you don't want the feedback visibility to be made to all users at all, right? There are multiple scenarios where you want to control what kind of visibility should be possible while giving feedback, simply because the feedback creator has complete control over with whom they can share the feedback. So let's say you are a large organization and you do not want the all users option to be visible at all. So you come in here, you turn off the box and maybe set up the default value to be selected users. Let me click on save. When I now click on give feedback, you'll notice there are only two options: selected teams or users, and none. I'll go back, I'll switch off the selected users, selected teams, and then maybe I'll just want all users and set it up as default. Now, this is a radically different option, having only all users, simply because you're saying all type of feedback that is exchanged amongst different stakeholders is visible to everyone within Appraise Company directory. Now, when I click on save, you'll notice on opening up of the give feedback pop-up, I can only see one option, that is all users. None option always remains there, which allows you to create private notes. Turning on the other two options for our instance, scrolling down, we have now feedback formats. So feedback formats are used in a way to allow your end users to not start from scratch. They start with a template, with a format, which they can expand onto. There are two types of feedback formats. One that is related to give feedback and the other one that is related to request feedback. Let me click on give feedback and you will notice there is a format selector in here. When I click on appreciate, it will populate the text that I have defined in the background screen. So here you'll notice something I really appreciate about you is, so I can have these feedback formats move up and down. Accordingly, they'll appear in the give feedback pop-up. I can edit them, I can delete them. The idea is very simple. By setting these up, you are allowing your end users who are a little hesitant in order to give feedback, request feedback, to become a little more conversant, and it does not require them to start from scratch. That's what feedback formats is all about. Next, you've got feedback links. This relates to the second option in here that says independent work, wherein you are linking the feedback with, say, Jira issue with an objective or a key result. You will be able to control what kind of feedback links are available to the end users. Maybe you don't want any feedback associated with Jira issues. You don't want anything connected to objectives. So whatever your choice, you should be able to check and uncheck those options from the feedback link section. The next section is export feedback data. And this specific area allows you to export all of the data that is related to continuous feedback for a given duration. I'll be able to choose current quarter, current month, last 30 days, all time. And as soon as I click on export, I'm offered an additional option. So Appraise has this concept of company directory and custom fields on user profiles. Let's say you want to create some kind of report out of this. Let's say you want employee IDs for employees who have created feedback. What I can do is I can pick up, let's say, employee code. And here as well, I want employee code. So what I'm saying is, for easy reporting and integration, you can choose to include additional information about the feedback by and feedback about users. So if I had given feedback to, let's say, John, in the export, in addition to John, there will be a column that says employee code for feedback about users. So in that column for John, I'll be able to see their employee code. You can get locations, you can get any other type of attributes from the user profiles. As soon as you click on export, you will receive an email notification that includes the Excel attachment with the exported information. Finally, you have the Slack integration. This configuration allows you to broadcast public feedback that is visible to all users on a specific Slack channel. You'll need to install the Appraise app for Slack on your Slack space, and then you will be able to pick up a channel to connect. Any feedback that is shared with all users will automatically be made visible into the selected Slack channel. Hope that was helpful. Thank you.